And I'm 91, and so I haven't got many more years. And I've got a friend who's quite gaga almost, and he's younger than me.
Yeah. These things happen, unfortunately.
I went to see him recently, he's over in Hastings, and he's just about lost it all. I tried to, you know, energise or recall a lot of stuff, and he lit up for a moment, and then he'd just go away with the fairy. That's the rear turret there. They've had 4 machine guns, 4 303 machine guns. And it was fully rotatable, of course. And this unit that I'm holding here, of course, is all part of the tail structure. And the elevators and this chain was the trim. This was an important hatch here, the camera hatch, and there was a unit folded down over there, and this hatch came out, and a rear-facing camera went down there, and it was tied into the circuit, so whenever the depth charges were dropped, the camera started to take pictures.
Wow.
And it filmed the whole rapid, there wasn't a movie picture, there were rapid still pictures, and it recorded the depth charges falling through the air into the sea, and whether they exploded next to the submarine. Your main purpose was, of course, to destroy enemy submarines. And this, you had these flares that ignited as they left the hull of the aircraft, and you put them down, and you had a box of them here, and you'd keep on pushing them down as long as they were required. The standard attack from an enemy aircraft is to come from the rear and do what they call a curve of pursuit. They came in at an angle and swung around like that and got a long passage of lead right throughout the aircraft, you see. And the defence was, our navigator was usually he got up in the dome, which I shall show you later, and he directed the fire, and he would hold, he would say, get ready to turn to port, and the pilots would be all tense and ready to turn to port, and the navigator, we used to call it, he could see the whites of the eyes of the fighter aircraft that was coming to knock them. He'd gauge it till the last minute, and then he'd say, turn to port, go. And the pilot would throw the aircraft into a steep bank and haul it round on the elevators and catch it with the motors in just in time to stop it from spinning. You see, it was quite a feature to be able to turn this huge thing. Inside, you see, the fighter was a faster aircraft and couldn't turn as fast as we could. And so these gunners got the chance of the fighter sweeping past of getting him. Yeah. And so this was, in naval terms, this is the crew's quarters, but in the Air Force we didn't have any demarcation between crew, and we were all crew.
Right, yeah.
Even the skipper, he was a crew. Here you've got these mounts are not for the 250-pound depth charges. The depth, that's what the armament we carried was the depth charges. We carried 8 of them, 250 pounds, so about 2,000 pounds worth of depth charges, or 2,000 pound weight. And we had 4 aside on there. These are not different carriers, and they carry smaller missiles or bombs, as you call them. It's happened, and also my friend from Napier they crashed one night when they were landing in a storm, and next day he was taken to hospital to recover from shock mainly, you know, and the next day they were salvaging the bombs and somebody did something wrong, and a whole lot went up.
Oh my God.
Including a salvage boat and everything, you know, quite a, the amount of accidents you had during the war, you know, you never heard about them, but they did happen.
Were people during World War II just smaller people? No.
Well, we weren't particularly fat, but
So have you, did you fly this?
not this particular one, no. No, we had Mark 3s, this is a Mark 5.
Right.
And it's got Pratt & Whitney motors. Now Mark 3 had British motors on it. What they call Pegasus 18, British Pegasus 18. We used to call them Peggy 18s. And they weren't nearly as powerful as these. And the Tropics was bad for performance too. Yeah. The air is more rarefied, and the engine capacity, you see, you can't alter the capacity of the engine, and it just simply didn't suck in as good as dense a mixture as it would in the temperate climates.
Right.
That's the radar, that guy that's continuously occupied, and if it encountered, this beam encountered a ship of anything on the surface of the sea, it was amplified and appeared as a glowing spot. And you had this sweeping, these aerials were turning, so you had a sweeping ray of light going around like that, and every time it passed this position where the ship was, the light would intensify. So you ended up with a pulsing glow there where the ship was. So you turned the aircraft until the pulsing glow was dead in front, and this has got a mileage scale on it. So that's how you approach your target.
Right.
And as soon as you had a target like that, you switched the radar off because you didn't want him, because he would have a radio receiver that would pick up that, and he'd know that he was located, or he was being possibly located, so he'd simply dive, you see, if it was a submarine.
So the moment that you detect him, he knows he's being detected?
Yeah, well, he's likely to. If he, hopefully, you'd hope he wasn't. You'd hope maybe he was dreaming or asleep or something. Actually, you know, it's not a joke, but submarines have been located with the crew standing on the deck in the tropics. Yeah.
With their pants down?
Well, you see, they thought they were thousands of miles away from anyone. And 9 times out of 10 they were. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And what would you do if that happened? If they spotted?
Well, they wouldn't be sunny on deck time we got there,
Yeah.
but they could be sunny on the deck when maybe they'd have a look out, you see.
Yeah.
And he'd be on his set, and he'd say, "Oh, right, there's a signal from a radio of some sort."
Yeah.
They'd be alerted, and you bet they'd be down, and that's the first pilot's position there. Captain or first pilot, you did your stint, you might do 2 hours of flying, and the captain would sit on this side then, and you'd sit on his seat, and then you go back again. In the front there you've got 4 of everything. Those are your flying instruments over there, artificial horizon, vertical speed and airspeed indicator. And you had similar over here, but not so good, not so handy as that side. And bomb release, button there. I'll push it, I don't think it'll do any harm.
Boom.
Here we've got trim and elevator trim, engine fuel cocks. If you pull one of these off, that engine would stop immediately. They were set right behind the carburetors. The latch comes up here and this slides out, and it's got a periscope effect here. You look down through here and you can see the sea going past underneath.
Oh, right.
And you can move this. There's a tab here which is broken, and you can move there. I'm getting it to move now, and you've got lines in the lens down here, and you can see the white caps going past, and you line them, the lines move with this, and you line them up with the, so the white cap went all the way down parallel to the, and then you read your drift off the top scale there. And you did a 3 courses, 60 degrees apart, and you worked it out on your hand computer, and you got the direction and speed of the wind.
Right.
Oh.
And that was absolutely vital.
These days you just have an app on your iPhone that does it all for you.
Yes, that's right.
So, Grandad, what was, I may have missed this earlier, what was your role? You were the pilot?
Yes, I was the second pilot. That was, no, strictly speaking, I was a first pilot, but what we did was, because the captain was the senior first pilot, we just talked about captain and first pilot, or you
Right.
could call second pilot. We
And you
weren't
were
worried.
navigator too.
Yes, well, the captain and the navigator and I, we all had equal
Roll.
role. Well, we had equal ability to navigate.
Right.
But
So-
the navigator was, that was his job, and he would be better than...
So where was the navigation station? Here. So you'd be often here.
Yes, you're sitting here and you've got your chart there. Unfortunately, these would come up, we've got to glue all these down again. And he's got certain instruments there that he needs for, he's got an airspeed indicator and that sort of thing, so he's got everything at his fingertips. You got frights when you're training. I know we were training in England, but this wasn't on Sunderland, we were on the training aircraft to Oxford, and we used to go away together, 2 guys would go away together, and we were night flying. Well, no, we weren't night flying this time, we were in the daytime, and we were flying over Wales, and there was a quarry in front of us, and there were some men working in the quarry, loading a truck, and of course we thought, he would give the head a fright, so we dived down and pulled up at the last minute at the quarry, you know, just over their heads. And of course we hadn't counted on the squash. You see, when an aircraft pulls out of a dive, it loses hundreds of feet because of its weight. And we actually saw the individual grass blades under the wings as we shot across. We were so lucky. 2 stupid buggers would have been dead.
I suppose, yeah, you're just kids in a way.
Yeah,
Your early 20s?
Dead right. You know, they are big kids. Yeah.